Hi, and welcome to today's demo of Caplena, the AI tool to analyze open text comments. My name is Pascal. I'm one of two co-founders of Caplena and will guide you through today's session. What does Caplena do? Well, Caplena takes any source of open-ended feedback, such as surveys, ad hoc or trackers, online reviews, or social media data, runs it through a process called Augmented Intelligence, which involves artificial intelligence and natural language processing, to produce a topic-level sentiment analysis, also what other people call in the industry open-end coding, and then downstream visualizations and beautiful dashboards. Caplena can take in any kind of data source, either using file-based upload or easy-to-use SDK with our API, or one of our many integrations we have with Qualtrics, with online review sites, to really get in data easily. Once the data is in, you can use Caplena to discover topics in your data, to automatically tag then the text comments with these topics, along with the sentiment, and then build nice visualizations with a lot of variety. But I'm not just going to show you this on slides. Let me jump into the app to show you this in real life. So here we're on Caplena, which is a web-based tool that you can access from anywhere, and really allows you to analyze your data easily. I'm not going to show you here the import because that's really simple and not that interesting, but I'm going to show you here how you can use Caplena to then easily identify topics in your data and automatically analyze it. So here we are in the first step of our analysis, where we build the topic collection, what we call, I also call it as code frame. So essentially just a hierarchy of topics that occur in your data that in the end you want to chart or do some other kind of analysis on. And we have two solutions to build this. The major one is for really open text, but we also cover more brand awareness type of questions like enumerations and more focused on spelling mistakes. But this is really the AI that is able to really semantically understand the text, which we'll use here. And in order to get our analysis going, we specify whether we want to discover the topics automatically in the data using this check mark, which I can turn on or off. I would want to turn it off if I already exactly know what kind of topics I want to have tracked in the data. For example, if I have a historic code book that I want to reuse, or if I want to go from a template or upload from a file that I may have. You can upload any kind of topics, essentially just the text, price or something, and Caplena will assign them automatically without any training data. You can also let the AI generate the topics in addition to existing topics that come from one of these sources. But here I'm just going to demonstrate how Caplena is able to automatically generate topics really that are close to what a human would build in a code frame from a manual analysis. So what it does, it really goes through all the rows in the data and synthesizes a two-level hierarchy of category and topics, and it produces names that are really such that as would a human coder do. So here we can see that we have 5 categories discovered in the data. One around brand, here it says liking of brand, quality, ease, convenience, something about the product, and also about price. So from this, I can go ahead and adjust the wording, rearrange, I can modify, merge, etc. So I'm just going to do a few edits here. It's not required, but it helps obviously with the understanding then later of the analysis if the wording is really such as you would do it. So for example here, instead of liking of brand, I will just call it brand. I will, for example, merge image and reputation. For me, this is the same thing. Let's merge them. Here maybe service, we could add it in a new category, service. And well, around quality, there's a little bit too much maybe for my taste. Trustworthiness is probably more related to the brand here. Also, I want to remove it. Here, transparency, not too sure 100% what this is referring to, but I will see later then in the data how it's assigned, and from that can derive what I need to do with this, or to make the naming even more clear. And the rest, I'm pretty happy. I only topic TV because this is about the TV, so that's not really that interesting. Here, price, rates and value, probably the same thing. Let's just name it cost. And so now I'd say I'm pretty happy with sort of the topics that we've discovered. These little wheels mean that on top of assigning the topic, it will also assign a sentiment along with it, neutral, positive, or negative. So this is really just here are shown the topics, but the assignment will be done on a topic sentiment level. You can also have topics without sentiment, for example, let's say not an answer or other or something like that. So in this case, I'm already pretty happy with what we've built so far. So let's hit save and really go into the data. For that, here I open the data view, and here I can now straight away see that here the verbatims are assigned with the individual topics plus the respective sentiment. So here, for example, all topics are assigned in a positive way. It's positive about Samsung, about the reputation, about the quality of the TV, especially about the TV. And here I can already see that there people are also talking about specifically the picture. So I would rather say, let's rename this to image quality, and then also add a topic overall quality, just to capture both and not forget to enable here topic sentiment. And we'll see that it updates here, for example, these generic statements, they don't have any topic assigned because we did not have anything like general quality kind of topic, but we added here now, and we can see that automatically was able to assign this new topic that I created instantly. So we can see here now that our assignment is already pretty good, and we think that's really already 90% there. What I can do to really make it 100%, or to make it at this really the same accuracy as you would get from a full manual analysis, is to go ahead and review a few responses. And I can do that here by either clicking here as mark as reviewed, or by going in and really modifying here a little bit the topics as well. So let's say I'm happy with these two topics that it has assigned. However, there's some missing. So around apps, for example, so I would say I add a new topic, available apps. I will also enable the topic sentiment. I will need to select here a category, which I would as product, apply here. This is negative sentiment towards apps, so I will correct this here. And then this row is now marked as reviewed. What this means is that our AI uses it to update itself and for that particular project and fine-tune on the particular context and the topics that you use. This is especially useful if you have really complex data or something that is really industry-specific. Then this fine-tuning allows you to get really, really accurate results that you would not be able to get with any general sort of AI that comes as it is. Really, you can think of that the AI is now customized to this particular project fully automatically in the background. And I can choose to do any amount of reviews that I like. Typically, users review between 20 and 100, sometimes more, depending on the complexity of the project. But obviously, the entire size of the data can be 100,000 rows or even millions of rows, and will get updated accordingly and in a very consistent manner that a human would not be able to do. So if we're now happy with sort of assignment that it did, we can go ahead and use this then as exports in any application that we may want to put this into. There are file-based exports that you can also get out of the application. You can even filter for specific attributes here, also filter for variables that you may have uploaded along with the open comments. And you can filter for these, download only the matching ones. Or you can use our beautiful visualizations to go into more detail and interactive charting. So let's do that now. Let's hop over to our visualizations, which you can easily create here from the cockpit. So I will create here a new chart, for example. Here, that's just a bar chart, a simple bar chart with just showing the categories and the topics. But I can also create, for example, this sentiment bar chart, which really visualizes the sentiment per topic. I could just, for example, also click on a bar and it will open up the respective verbatims, which is really handy when then also presented in the dashboard. You can add filters based on your data that you uploaded or based on attributes we computed. There are a myriad of different charts here, some also quite advanced, just correlation analysis between topics, date charts that show trends over time. This data has no date variable, so this is not available. But if you would upload the date variable, this would also here show the trends. We also offer like more general charts that just show in a glance the overall distribution. Obviously, we also have our famous tree map, which really is a nice way to visualize what are the main topics in our data to see where we need to take action on. And for this also, for this particular aspect of identifying really drivers of your satisfaction, we also offer a specific driver analysis chart that you can use to identify key drivers of your satisfaction. Here, for example, one would be image quality, a very positive driver, but for example, if they say something negative about sound, it's really likely that they also have a negative overall rating. So once we've built a few charts, we can then go ahead and create a dashboard from that. I will quickly here create a couple of charts just to illustrate this. So let's save this one as well. And then we can go ahead and create a dashboard. Dashboard is fully customizable. You can add obviously charts, but you can also add text elements just describing what people see here, something about the study, etc. So demo consumer electronics, Ipsum, and I can also add extracts of verbatims to the dashboard to just highlight also responses from there. I can save these dashboards, share them with my colleagues through a shareable link. They then can also filter on these dashboards, for example, for the particular business unit or country, or given date range, whatever they may like. So that's it for a brief walkthrough. We also have additional features that I wasn't able to highlight, such as, for example, built-in automated translations. Caplena supports 30 languages natively, so without needing translations. Most Western languages are in there. For the rest, we do recommend to use the built-in translations, either through Google Translate or DeepL, which produce really nice results in our application as well. Additionally, we also have a feature to remove personal identifiable information, such as names, telephone numbers, emails, etc., from verbatim comments if you have sensitive information that you may not want to share in dashboards. Yeah, so that's it for a brief overview of Caplena. And because the automated topic discovery works so well and is really able to synthesize topics for any kind of industry, I just try to go ahead and also generate more on some other data just to show you the flexibility of it. So here we have Five Guys restaurants, just online reviews. And just for the gist of it, I'm going to also generate topics on this one, just to show you really quickly how it's able to, for a variety of industries, essentially for any industry, to generate meaningful topics. And you can always add additional topics that come from your custom lingo or that you are really interested in because you track this over time, for example. So in just a couple of seconds, it will complete and be available for analysis. You can fetch reviews from multiple sources, such as Google Maps, or also Trustpilot, Yelp, Amazon reviews, and also for apps on Apple App Store or Google Play Store. And here we can also see that it generated quite a lot of topics and a lot of categories that also really make sense. So about the food, obviously, about the customer service, the taste, the costs, the freshness, which is apparently a really important topic as well. And again, it discovered that it's about fries, about burgers. This is a burger restaurant, so that's why it is. And really quickly, I'm now able also to adjust this a little bit, which I'm not going to do now, but if I would be able then to further improve this up to a point that I'm really happy just within a couple of minutes. So with that, I'd like to hop back onto the slides to show you a bit more around Caplena. So what we've just seen is that Caplena does not just output keywords, but really semantically meaningful topics. And it also doesn't just consider words individually. It's really able to understand full sentences, full statements, in contrast really to approaches such as word clouds or any kind of keyword solution that just looks at either one or two words together and then just essentially orders them by frequency. And this obviously also reflects in the accuracy of our tool. The German tech provider for market research did an analysis where they benchmarked multiple tools and also manual coding in how accurate the results were in terms of how well it's usable in downstream analysis, such as a driver analysis. And they were able to see that the topics that we produce and the consistency in how we assign them makes it really, really valuable to then do, for example, a driver analysis on that I just showed you, because the topics it generates and assigns explain then the rating well, or what the user tried to convey, which is in contrast to how sort of these keyword-based solutions perform here far on the left in unsupervised learning. Yeah, and for the future, Caplena is really becoming the place of truth for open-ended feedback. We've already integrated with a lot of tools, but are constantly building new ones to make it really easy to combine data from surveys and from reviews and from social into a single platform that you can then build your analysis on. Our customers range from relatively small to huge enterprises. For example, small or medium size is Join, a German streaming startup. It is really a small market research team that, thanks to Caplena, is really able to analyze the open ends, which would not be possible to do when using a manual approach, for example. And because the tool is really nimble, they can just plug it in through an API integration with our API. But obviously, we also have bigger customers, big enterprises such as eBay and DHL, who process a lot of volume on our platform. So a wide variety of industries and kinds of data that we process. For example, for DHL, we process employee feedback. For eBay, we do the seller and buyer back, which can be really complex, but thanks to our highly adapted AI, is really to distinguish accurately between what is concerning the seller, what is concerning the platform itself, or what is concerning the buyer. You can get started with Caplena for free using a 1-week free trial. And after that, we provide 3 different options, depending on your team size, the features you need, and also the volume and the kind of support from our side, consulting, etc. you may need. From full service to really involved consulting, we provide really all the range. Our pricing is both volume and feature dependent. So if you don't have such a large volume, you will also not pay as much. Most of our options are publicly available, so you can just register on our website, do the 1-week free trial, and then purchase any kind of these subscriptions, either on a monthly or on a yearly basis. Yeah, Caplena is really a cool company, not just because of our product, but also because of our journey. We started in 2018 as a bootstrap startup, so meaning really from the first day on, we really had customers that already paid for licenses, and so we were able to organically grow until this day, where we have now raised additional capital to accelerate the growth of the platform. But from the beginning, we were really incorporating a lot of then customer feedback to really perfect our AI and also our user interface to make it really useful for market research professionals and also user experience researchers, marketing analysts, etc. We've just launched our version 2, which is what I've shown you in the demo. And to this day, we have more than 100 recurring paying customers and processed over 130 million text comments on the platform. And it's getting much more by the day. If you'd like to join our journey, we're always looking also for more talent. Yeah, with that, I'd like to thank you and open up the Q&A. Really appreciate that you joined this demo of our amazing tool.
Thanks, Pascal. That was great, and looks, from a amateur perspective, looks relatively intuitive to get started. The sort of app design and from what you demoed. So great. We've got a couple of questions from Johannes, and if anybody else has anything for Pascal, do please put them into this Q&A, and we'll make sure that we get them. So I think let's start with the higher level one to start with, Johannes. So, can you talk a little bit about the volumes that are needed for successful analysis? Is there kind of a minimum number of reviews, for example?
Yeah. There is no real minimum. Obviously, the topic discovery works better with a larger volume, just because we actually can see what is really relevant because many people are talking about it. But yeah, there is no fixed minimum. It does, however, work better with 100+ reviews. For the tagging then itself, there is really also no minimum. It works also for just 2 reviews if you would like to do that. There is one caveat, sort of, it's not really built for very long text. We have, like, the AI has like a context window we call of about 1,000 characters. So text that is longer than that is not really, yeah, Caplena is maybe not the application for that.
Okay,
I
so
mean, every review here and there is absolutely fine, but
yeah.
like if you have all the reviews are very long, then
Yeah,
that's not it.
so you wouldn't necessarily use this for, let's say, a transcript of a qualitative, a small number of qualitative interviews. This is more for larger numbers of sort of shorter bits of text. Is that
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, great. Okay, good. And I will post Jana's other question, although for some people it may be a little bit technical. But how does the Caplena algorithm differ when it comes to topic modeling from other models, say, latent dirichlet in R? And how much time do you think you would need to spend on manually refining? If you can answer that, let's take the first one first. Can you talk a little bit about your algorithm?
Yeah, funnily enough, we get this question quite a lot recently, because people also notice that it works way better than latent dirichlet allocation. Well, it differs a lot since, I mean, LDA, latent dirichlet allocation, is really about finding words, or let's say pairs of words, for example, in the data that occur frequently, that are meaningful by a certain measure. Our topic generation is really more generative kind of approach. So we really synthesize a topic name based on an understanding of what is in this topic. So it also is not really needing, I mean, it can also handle if people talk about a topic in every time in another way using other words, which LDA would struggle with. But really can synthesize a meaningful, understandable topic for a human, which LDA typically has trouble with. And yeah, for the second one, yeah, time spent on manual refining, that really depends on sort of where you want to go with this. If you really want to the same level as you would have from a full manual analysis, meaning like really a human coder going through all the rows, then you might spend a couple of minutes to hours depending on the complexity of the survey and also obviously on the size. If you're happy sort of with a 90% accuracy there, or compared to the human analysis, which is also not always fully 100% correct, then you're there in a couple of minutes.
Great. Okay, good. Got a question from Mike here, which is about kind of real-time usage. So could you use Caplena on a real-time basis, say for chatbot interactions, for anything like that, or is it not set up like that?
Yeah, it is set up for that. We have an API that sort of also supports this use case. You can just send a verbatim. It can be anything, can from a chatbot, can be social. We reply with a sentiment, an overall sentiment, and topic assignments with sentiment per topic, which you can use then to build your logic on, or do whatever you want, essentially.
Okay, so you can use Caplena to basically then pull out topics, and then that can drive the branching logic for subsequent responses in the chatbot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, great. Can you talk a little bit more about the API? You mentioned you've got an SDK as well. How does that work? Have you got some typical use cases for people who are working with it?
Yeah. yeah, we've launched also a new API along with it. It's really well documented and nicely built, and is primarily used to feed in data and to get it, results out. Typically, like in kind of a nightly kind of synchronization, but also some real-time usage. For example, for like a survey kind of chatbot, we have one customer using it like that,
Right.
which it does support, and also to integrate, to fully integrate into your survey tool. We have a couple of partners, survey tool providers that are integrating using our API and just use our natural language processing and visualization capabilities.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And then we've got a question from Svetomra. I'm almost definitely pronounced that wrong. I'm so sorry. But so charts and graphs are more related to quantitative reports. So what do clients think about this? Are they happy with sort of structured presentation of data?
Yeah, typically yes. I mean, they can always see the respondent level output as well. I mean, maybe I've not shown this in the demo, but you can just click on a bar and then you see all the individual responses along with the tags.
Yeah.
So there's always the way to drill down to the respondent level, and a lot of filtering capabilities, etc., to go further into detail.
Yeah. Okay. So people can read the underlying comment if they drill down into the visualizations. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Any other questions from anyone in the audience? Do post them here while we've still got you. You mentioned something about scrubbing sensitive information or PII from these. Is that can you automate that, or is that manual intervention? How does that work?
No, that's fully automatic as well.
Yeah. Okay.
I built into the import. Essentially, you just hit a check mark. I want to anonymize. You can even tune what kind of classes of PII you want to anonymize. By default, it's like names, emails, addresses, like locations, etc. But we have like a wide variety of entities which we scrub with, really leading accuracy. We've found no better solution than that.
Okay.
So for sensitive data, really,
Yeah.
this is also what we recommend to do if you upload it somewhere.
I guess especially for sort of healthcare research or topics where things are particularly sensitive. Yeah. Good. Can you just talk a little bit about the direct integrations then? So you connect with certain types of review data sources. How does that work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we have integrations with, for example, Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and how it works there is you get a link, right? The link to the reviews that you can just copy and paste from your browser, and we then fetch the reviews. We can combine also multiple products into one project, so you could compare, for example, yourself against the competition, or one version of your app if it's a separate product on the stores versus another.
Okay.
And we can also, there's built-in synchronization, so every day when there's new reviews incoming, you will get it updated automatically along with all our analysis.
Right. Okay.
For other, like Qualtrics, for example, which is more like a standard survey platform, we just have a direct integration where you can import projects from Qualtrics directly.
Right. Okay. And how do you find, because different survey tools also have some of their own features. So Qualtrics has Text IQ, doesn't it? And some of the other platforms do as well. Do you find that the people who are using those platforms, I guess do they just get more value, more utility out of integrating with Caplena than they do out of using the default out of the box tools from some of these survey tools?
Yeah, absolutely. This is also why we've built this integration, because so many people said, well, we're using Qualtrics, but we want to use you for the text analysis part.
Yeah.
So this is why we've built this. And yeah, I mean, the TextIQ can be good for some things, but in general, it's not the tool I would use. A lot of rules entering, etc. It's not so automated and not such a nice flow. So yeah, but anyway, just give both a try, right?
Yep. See what you think. Yeah, great. Okay, and languages. You mentioned about there's kind of 30 by default, but if it's outside of that scope, potentially run translations with Google Translate, or do you have direct integrations with DeepL and Google Translate then for that, or is that something that people would do off? Right.
No, this is fully integrated. It's also included in the price, so there's no extra charge for it.
Okay.
Again, there is no need to use translations if you're in these like 30 languages like Spanish, Portuguese, English, German, French, Italian, etc. For the Asian languages, etc., we recommend the translations.
Okay.
Until we're also supporting that.
Yeah. Good. Makes sense. Great. Well, listen, if that's all the questions we have from the audience, then I think we can probably wrap this up now. But